Well, hi, welcome friends, and I hope all are fine. And before getting into today's topic, I would like to make a note on current situation. As WHO announced, the situation is pandemic due to coronavirus. So please try to follow the advised measures by the respective governments so that you could avoid the spread of coronavirus and also you can protect yourself, your family, your community, and ultimately your country. And I hope we all will follow the advised measures to control the spread of coronavirus. So now let's get into today's topic is drilling. Oil field drilling. We'll have an A to Z inputs about drilling. So we are planning to make a series of videos. So totally we're gonna have a 20 videos so that we could get a complete inputs on drilling. Exclusively oil and gas drilling. Okay. So this video, the video number one is all about introduction. We're gonna focus only on the introduction. The scope of the video is just introduction to drilling and oil and gas drilling. Okay. Hello, welcome. Today we're gonna see a video on drilling. So let's check it. Totally we have 10 slides and 15 seconds that we are looking for to know about drilling and oil and gas. Thank you. So hello, hi, welcome. Today we're gonna have a series of videos on drilling. So the first video is about the introduction in drilling in oil and gas. We'll have an overview on how drilling is done in normal people, and the other set of people are from oil and gas industry who knows how big is drilling and how modernized it and what are the complexity involved in drilling operations. So how we do it, what we do it. So we'll be having a series on video. So the first video is about its introduction, its impact and its importance in oil and gas industry. So let's have a look on it. So well, before getting into the basics and history of drilling, I would like to answer a question which was raised among all petroleum engineers and drilling engineers and even the persons who work in oil and gas exploration and production. People from other industries or normal people who are not related or even directly or indirectly to oil and gas, they used to ask a question: how different is drilling in normal scenario in oil and gas drilling? A normal drilling which is done by even a plumber or a technician is just about to make a hole, but whereas in oil field drilling is far beyond that. It's a highly complex process where we are targeted to reach a depth. We used to call it as a target depth. So oil well drilling is completely different, which is a kind of an art of putting a hole in subsurface to extract oil, because that is the only way that you know that there is an oil and gas resource. So drilling is comes under exploration, which is a mandatory method and a mandatory step in the complete exploration to find the oil and gas resources. So, as we all know, it is important to have a strong basics and fundamentals of a subject so that you could become a master in it. Following to that, in drilling engineering, the fundamentals of fluid mechanics and solid mechanics, along with the basic scientific concepts of chemistry and geology, form the whole basis of drilling engineering. So, these subjects will give you a clear understanding on what is drilling engineering and how a drilling engineer is supposed to work. So these three will give a clear understanding on drilling fluid, its mechanism, its flow regimes, and ultimately you could interpret the geology. So and also the equipments at which you have to use, because the reward and success of drilling projects are predicated on the ability of the drilling engineer who fully understand all the engineering aspects and equipment required to drill a usable hole at a lowest dollar per foot in vertical well drilling or highest equivalent barrel of oil per foot in horizontal or multilateral well drilling. It's not depends upon which kind of technology you use, but you should have a strong knowledge to take those wise decisions. So as I've mentioned about the horizontal drilling, multilateral drilling, and some of the jargons, we'll talk in future. We'll talk about it in later slides, and also in next videos you will talk about the jargons in oil field drilling. Yes, so as we came across drilling, drilling, before getting into a concept, it is really important to know its fundamentals. You know, if you want to solve a problem, you always have to do the root cause analysis. When you want to innovate something and when you want to become a master of, I mean, you should have a good knowledge. If you want to innovate, you should have a good knowledge and you should be master in that. For that, first you have to develop your fundamentals. You should know fundamental of that particular subject. Only then you can innovate things, you could be master in that. So in that particular way, drilling has its major roots from basic chemistry and fluid mechanics and solid mechanics. As we all know, physics is always there in all kind of physical operations. You can expect physics from that, so just keep that apart. And besides that, fluid mechanics, solid mechanics, and basic chemistry encapsulate the whole drilling process. So everything includes in these three principles. I mean, these three subjects will give you a clear understanding of drilling, what it is, how it is done, and what are the science behind this. If you want to learn the science behind this, just go learn with chemistry, know about solid mechanics, and know about the fluid mechanics. Why we use fluid mechanics? What is the need of fluid mechanics? So when it comes to drilling fluid is an mandatory additive. So that performs almost 50 percentage of majority of operations, starting from lubricating the drill bit and providing a friction and providing a support. I mean, like, static head, hydrostatic head, and hydrostatic pressure, everything is be provided by means of drilling fluid. So this ultimately gives relationship to fluid mechanics. Solid mechanics, the relationship between the rock and the bits. Bit dynamics, you have bit grading, you have different parameters. It is based on the formation strength, and what kind of bits that we are going to make use of it. So it all directly relates to solid mechanics. And basics chemistry, it just the means of choosing the drilling fluid. If you should have a strong chemistry knowledge to be a good drilling fluid engineer, or to be a part of that such a great operation. So that is what all about the basics, the fundamentals that you have to learn. In next upcoming slides, we'll look after about this history, its science, and its escalation, like it's since its inception, how drilling has been grown to the present level, and what are the parameters that we have to look out. These are the parameters that we are going to learn in introduction of drilling. In later series of videos for each month, you'll be getting out with in-depth, so the problems faced in drilling and the technologies used. So all these topics will be having a separate videos which will get you complete knowledge on it. Thank you. Well, in upcoming slides, we're going to look about the history of drilling, importance of drilling, and the last one, most important, technology involved in oil and gas drilling. So let's come to the history of drilling. You know, there are proofs and facts which states that before 1000 years, Chinese people used to drill well for the need of water. But the first oil well was drilled in the year of 1847. That is called the world's first oil well, which is drilled at Baku on Caspian Sea. But Caspian Sea right now it is called as Azerbaijan. But though it has been drilled since in the year of 1847, but the worldwide accepted first ever commercial oil well was drilled in the year of 1859 by Mr. Edwin L. Drake. The actual scenario in that moment is a lawyer from Pennsylvania formed an oil company called Seneca Oil Company. He hired Mr. Edwin L. Drake, who is a former railway road contractor and also a colonel. So this person hired E.L. Drake. I mean, the Seneca Oil Company hired a drilling contractor company under the leadership of Mr. E.L. Drake. So E.L. Drake struck oil on August 27, 1859. That gave the birth of petroleum industry. So this is what actually mentioned in the picture which have been added in the slide. But as a petroleum engineer, I don't accept that this well gave the birth of petroleum industry. I would say that this worldwide accepted first commercial oil and gas well gave birth for the oil and gas drilling industry, not for the petroleum industry, because petroleum industry was given birth even before that. For there is a great example in 1856, a Polish person set up a first crude oil refinery in Poland. maybe that is one of the most revolutionary act which gave birth for the whole petroleum industry, and later stages, even before that, 1847 oil wells have been drilled in Baku. So all this scenario from 1840 to 1857 was one of the most important period which gave inception for oil industry. Inception of oil industry in 1859, it starts for the drilling industry, I mean for oil and gas drilling. So, well, when it comes to techniques used in oil and gas drilling, in the early stages from 1800s to the beginning of 1900s, people were widely using a technique or a methodology called percussion and cable tool drilling. That is a very simple concept. It makes use of a heavy, hard, and a sharp-edged metal to put a narrow hole on subsurface or in the ground on the ground sorry on the ground. So that technique and methodology has been widely used all around the world till 1900s, but later on, when the inception of rotary drilling, it has been the transition took place to rotary drilling. The whole drilling contractors, all drilling contractors, and the whole oil companies were accepting this transition, just because by using a rotary drilling you can drill to a far depth, you can drill to the larger depths, and at the same time it will consume very less amount of time when compared to percussion drilling. This means it has higher efficiency in the means of time and rate of penetration. Everything, it's very high in rotary drilling. So that is what the transition, and even present condition at present time people were widely using rotary drilling just because of its higher ROP and flexibility. Following to the techniques involved in oil and gas drilling, this topic that is called importance of drilling industry, I made this particular slide on my own interest. This is purely my own perspective. There is no content available in any kind of books or any internet medium. So if there is any error or if you find something different, do comment below. We'll have a conversation on it. My perspective on a real time situation. I mean, this is just a lifetime condition. If people say that you're gonna live in a sea for the next 30 days, the first step that you will take an action, I mean, your instinct will say that just go and practice for swimming so that you could survive in a sea. This is what the real time situation. If there is a need, you will take an action for it, because life is completely a cakewalk. So based on that, you will do it. For survival, you will do anything. So at that moment, even the present condition, for survival, we need energy. For energy, the only source we had in the 19th century or even at the beginning of 21st century, we had oil and gas. So in order to explore it, the only proved method for exploration is drilling. So drilling industry has been in its peak. It is a high consuming tech savvy industry, because drilling industry, not only drilling industry, whole oil and gas industry is a high tech savvy. It consumes huge amount of technology products rather than other industries. Oil and gas industry is highly flexible and highly technology consuming industry. I would say that it's my own perspective. That is what's similar in drilling industry. In drilling, the complexity increases with respect to the depth you are reaching out. So the depth you're traveling, the depth you're drilling, the amount of complexity, I mean, the percentage of complexity increases. Similarly, space industry is also quite similar, but the distance is very far, but the hindrance percentage is very low, because you are in the space, you don't have any oxygen. Okay, you face different layers of atmosphere, stratosphere, etc., etc. But here you are supposed to face different rocks, which is very hard. Okay, which is very hard, but the need is very essential. So we make use of lots of technology. We invest huge amount of money to make a final product. Space industry is also quite similar. When we have the need, when there will be a rise in demand, people will find a technology to explore in Mars. Maybe in the future pipeline could be from Earth to Mars. You can explore a kind of products. The trade might happen if there is a need. People will find a solution for that. I mean, we will find a solution for that. In one case, for example, in such a case, NASA has accepted petroleum drilling technology for its Mars exploration. So NASA is going to make use of petroleum drilling technology just because of its high accuracy and high efficiency. NASA is going to make use of that drilling technology in Mars, and even they have made a statement that they're going to make use of it in 2 or 3 explorations. Either might be in Moon, but they haven't mentioned about it. But they gave a clear statement that NASA is going to explore Mars using drilling missions designed to be used in unmanned planetary space expenditures. This is a statement given by NASA. So they have 5 separate projects, but we don't know what actually they're going to make use of it. But in later announcement from NASA, we'll definitely have a clear update on it. That is what an achievement by petroleum drilling technology. When your technology have been in such a great achievement, when it gives a great returns, definitely it will be used in other industry. For example, if you're using a pharmaceutical industry, you have a kind of methodology where you could have a cover your tablet for a higher amount of percent. If there is any kind of exceptional cases, this kind of technology will be used in other industry. It happens, it is a common stage. Like what we use in benchmark. If there is a company which follows a great rules and regulations to increase its process rate, that idea and methodology will be used in other company if they are sharing their trade secrets. Similarly, when a kind of technology is so successful in one industry, it will be used in other industry. It happens. So in petroleum industry, especially oil and gas upstream industry, have been an example to all industries, for which we are using lots of techniques used in upstream have been used in other industries. Following like the techniques used in upstream have been used in mining, geology, etc., etc. You can just have a overview on it. If you could Google it, you will get all the informations. How tech savvy is an oil and gas industry? You'll get to know about it, because one of the highest tech savvy company in the world is Schlumberger. That is a purely an oil field service company. Now, last but not the least, we're going to look about the technology involved in oil and gas drilling, that is exclusively. Though I have spoken a few points about technology in previous slides, but this is especially for the technology advancement we have achieved in oil and gas drilling. For example, in 1859, we were just drilled for 70 feet, but in early stages of 1900, we drilled 1,000 feet, that is 300 meters. So the growth of technology and the efficiency in drilling industry have been exponential. So one of the revolutionized technology in drilling is about directional drilling and measurement while drilling and log while drilling. These are the 3 important methods which gave a kind of revolutionized transition and lots of inputs to environment oil companies and drilling contractors, and also it gave a good ecosystem balance. For example, the introduction of directional drilling at the end of 1900s, I mean in the 1960s is when the directional drilling had been introduced. It solved lots of problems. There was lots of environmental questions and environmental cases in oil and gas drilling. So this is the technologies which gave solution for that. So I would say that oil and gas technologies have a good environmental stewardship. That is the reason behind that. So by using directional drilling, you can reduce the space consumed to drill a well, and mobility of drilling rigs and everything, blah blah blah. You could get lots of informations on it. All those things will be having an exclusive video on directional drilling in future. Maybe in next month we'll be having 2 to 3 videos on directional drilling. So at that moment we'll talk about it. So what is the need of measurement while drilling and log while drilling? This increases the percentage of success rate and accuracy of an oil well drilling, because it gives you real-time data. Measurement while drilling will give you real-time data. So what is the pressure? What is the temperature? What is the subsurface that you're moving on? So what is the lithographic? All this analysis, all this input will be given from MWD and LWD. When you have these 2 data, you can do all those real-time analytics. When you have a good real-time analytics in the presence of actual data, that is important. You should have a correct data. So all those things we can get it from MWD and LWD tools. So once the data is collected, you can do those real-time analytics and you can take your decisions in a wise manner. So these decisions, these data will help you to solve the problems, because we face lots of complex problem in oil and gas drilling. There are lots of problems, differential sticking, etc. So all those things we'll talk in different video. So this, since the scope of this first introduction video is just to give an overview, so these are the technologies which made a highly revolutionized the whole drilling industry, which gave a transition, which gave lots of advantages by means of environment, cost efficient, and also it optimized the production and profits of all companies. I mean, the oil and gas operators, and also the drilling contractors, and also the government of the respective countries. Introduction. The scope of this video is just an introduction. So in next series of videos we'll have a precise information and precise knowledge on each and every stages of drilling operations, problems we face in drilling, and the methodologies we have to make use to overcome those problems, and the technologies. So what are the technologies I've mentioned? The three most revolutionized technologies in drilling has been MWD, LWD, and directional drilling. And also we'll discuss about some of the most important tools. We'll have an exclusive videos on tools which plays a vital role. So hope the more best are gonna be in the next stages. So thanks for watching this video, and do subscribe, like, and share the video. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day.